Welcome back to another episode of Parenting in Progress. I'm Corey.
I'm Jordan.
And we're the Welches. Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about Carly's favorite toys when she was a baby all the way up to a 1-year-old. These are just kind of our go-to toys that she really liked and latched on to. Let's just dive in. First type of toys that she loved, crinklers.
Oh my goodness, the crinklers. Crinkle books, crinkle paper, anything that crinkled.
Oh man, if she could figure, like she was quick about it, she'd figure out that her hand squeezing or releasing would make that noise. And it was just consistent.
She loved it. We got one of our shower gifts. I can't remember who got it for us. It had like a farm scene on one side, and then it was the red, soft, bumped fabric. And then it had tags along the sides. So she could grab onto the tags. She had the soft, really soft side. She had the not so soft side, and then it would crinkle, and it had that texture and made the noise, and she loved them.
We actually had some homemade ones.
Yes, my aunt made one. Homemade. And then we had crinkle books too that had that crinkle paper in them.
Yeah, she was definitely was a crinkle girl. These, they make them in a wide range, of types of those toys. They're in things, they're in other toys. Maybe a toy makes a sound, well, it'll also have a crinkler with it. Carly was just drawn to the crinkles. That was probably the first toy she was really.
Yeah, and the nice thing about them were they were lightweight. You could toss it on top of her in the car seat, and she'd have that to go with her wherever we went. If we needed to go somewhere and we needed a toy that was quiet, that wasn't a music toy, I mean, it's not super quiet, but compared to other noisy toys, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and it depends on the crinkle paper you get in there. Some crinkling paper was not as crisp, I guess, or maybe you get a toy that's starting to get worn out. It is not as loud. So you kind of test that out too. There are some that do not crinkle as loud as others at the same time.
And you could wash them depending on the ones that you got. So if she spit up on it or anything, we could just toss it in the washer. But yeah, she liked those. There was also a crinkler piece to the raccoon that she loved.
Speaking of the raccoon, that was her first little favorite buddy.
Yes. It's a Walmart brand raccoon toy, and she clung to that baby.
It's got little stretchy legs, and once in a while she'd get him into a certain position, and his poor little legs would get stretched out. And
I think one of the legs had like a little mirror on the bottom of it. One of them had black and white.
It's just like a pattern.
A pattern, yeah. And then there was another one that squeaked, and then one that had a crinkler, I think, in it. And, no, the mirror was on the raccoon's stomach.
Yeah, there was 2 squeakers. I think either both legs or one arm and one leg was a squeaker, but she liked the squeakers. You'd get her attention, but that was her little buddy. She'd ride around in the car seat, and she'd have that thing clinched to her over the belt. She'd just have one little arm just sucked tight to her, and that was her bud. And it had a little attachment deal, little C
hook thing.
Yeah, C hook that you could clamp on to different things. So we took it in the car seat, put it on top. It was one of the little danglers in the car seat and stuff like that. So it was a pretty good all-around universal toy, I think.
I think it's always funny when I would go out in public and I would see some people that I know, like there's at least 2 people that I knew that their child had the raccoon with them. I'm like, yep, your kiddo loves the raccoon too. They're like, oh yes. So it wasn't real expensive. It didn't, light up or anything like that, but she really liked it.
One of the probably more main toys that she really played with a lot for a pretty decent stretch. We stuck her in it pretty early on. Handy dandy piano mat.
Oh man, the kicker piano. Yes.
Yeah, you just set that old girl to play some music and you'll memorize those songs in about 3 days.
And then you'll catch yourself washing dishes and singing the songs. It will happen, and it's okay.
It's catchy.
It's just your life nowadays.
It is catchy. It has like 4 different animals and it sings about it and it lights up, and you can put it in a way where it's got a mat where they can lay on their back and try to kick the piano buttons. Well, she's small, so she never really did kick the piano buttons till later on, but it also has a lot of animals that hang from, there's a little arch that goes over it. And she loved if you would just go through and just hit all of them, because sometimes she couldn't hardly grab them. Like, she's so small, she wouldn't grab them, but she'd look at them. And so you kind of had to entertain her a little bit, where you'd kind of hit them, swing them around, and she just loved watching those things.
It had a mirror on the top too that would fold down so she could look at herself in the mirror. And you can change out the things that you hang from the arch, because we'll have other toys that had the clips and we knew she liked those, so we threw those up on there as well. But she spent a lot of time playing in that because it was just something to look at, something to listen to. She enjoyed it.
Yeah, we actually got smart finally, because the original toys that come with that, they didn't hang down as low, and we found other things that we could clamp on to those animals to make them hang lower to where she could grab them at an earlier stage. I remember that, just because there's maybe 1 or 2 of them that you could really get down and she could actually grab it. You know, she's so small, she'd have to really reach up there to get it. So we did get some other chimes and other toys that we could hang off of those, or just hang on that bar along with them. And once we did that, it seemed like she played with it a little bit more consistently, but I don't know how many hours she had in that thing.
A lot. And that was a toy that, I mean, from newborn to 8 months probably she used, because you can fold the piano and set it up so you can, once they're sitting up, you can sit them next to it and they can hit the piano with their hands instead of kicking it with their feet. So it does grow with the child. So it's a good investment. I mean, it's probably like $40, but we definitely got our money's worth out of that.
Yeah. The last comment on the old piano, if we go downstairs, she still finds it and plays with it.
That's right. She does.
And she's over 1.5 years. So she still plays with it, still likes it. And the other one, when they get in the old kicking stage, oh man, you better look out, because those things are going to, those animals dangling off of that arch, they are going to whip around and all sorts of stuff when they start pounding on that keyboard laying down.
One of the toys that my first little daycare lady had given us was little animals that had chimes on them. And they had the little hooks so you can dangle them from, we had a different little thing that she would lay under. It had little chimes and she liked the music. I mean, it got kind of annoying when you had 4 of them going at the same time, but she liked the different type of music on those too. They were little, they were small. I don't know where she got them from, but.
Yeah, and they were loud. She would dangle in there, and it was almost a little overstimulating sometime when she first got in there, because there was a lot and they kind of surround you a little bit. And sometimes you kind of had to move your head a little bit to see if she was actually sleeping in there or what she was doing. One of these next toys that we're going to talk about as a little bit of a younger stage yet is she loved the O-ball rattles. She loved those things. She'd grab onto them things, and she didn't start out shaking them. You know, she didn't really know what it was. She just eat it, you know, just like all babies do. She just put it in her mouth and eat it. But it was something, it was easy for her to grip onto, and it was a little bit of weight, so you could tell like she felt like something was there a lot. And it's one of those, she doesn't play with them as much anymore, but I'd say almost up to 1 year she played with them. I think
On and off, yeah.
I was going to say the only time we really play with them once in a while, we'll kind of use them as drumsticks, beating on the floor a little bit, but.
They also make, that same brand makes a ball, not just a rattle, but a ball. And then they make other ones with like the ball has a car attached to it. We never got that one, but they have a different variety of them. But yeah, the nice thing about them is their fingers can grab onto them easily.
Yeah, it's got one hard end that's a rattle, and then the other soft end that it's pretty plush and squishy of it.
One thing that I didn't know about until having a kid and seeing all the different things and toys on registries is the black and white toys when they're so young. something about their eyes and the contrast from them, and it's good for their development or whatever. I'm not a doctor, but the black and white toys are really good for the little ones. So we had a black and white book that was almost like an accordion that you can lay out on the floor. And then there was a different one that was an actual soft book, but it had different designs on it that no real words or anything like that, but just different designs and patterns that were good for them to look at. And she enjoyed watching them, but she liked books in general, and she still loves books. So the black and white books she really liked. And then we moved kind of to the textured books, the books that have the rubbery texture on different animals or whatever. She loved those. Anything that had bumps and she could feel, she liked.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of annoyed me is you really had to trim her fingernails during that time because she just would scratch. It's not that she would touch. She scratched a lot of the times more than she touched. Now, she never ruined a book or anything, but man, you're just like, all right, really? It's a brand new book and you're reading it for the first time and she's just scratching all of the texturized things. But those books are pretty durable.
They are. We have several different ones, and she still looks at them today. She likes them.
We're finally now at the stage where we're getting away from the texture books a little more. She used to always hover to those texture books a lot of times when we really first start reading to her. She just wanted the texture one. And we bought a decent amount of them, a handful of them during that stage. Now we're finally getting into the smooth books, but they lasted quite a while.
And she's not opposed to them. She still looks at them, but she's open to other books rather than just the texture books now.
Yeah, it's more about pictures now.
Yes.
And what it has on the page.
So she spent, not a ton of time in the car, but, I have like a 15, 20-minute drive to work and daycare each time. So we wanted to make sure that she had a car seat toy that she wasn't going to throw out every 5 seconds. And I can't reach back when it's just me and her in the car. So we had a Caterpillar that wrapped around the car seat handle. But then there's other ones that are like VTech that have lights and sounds and noises and stuff that can hang. But she seemed to like the Caterpillar one that we had. It didn't have any noise or anything, but it had little strings or ribbons that dropped down with like 3 or 4 other toys that she could grab at. But that was nice because that thing always stayed on the car seat. She couldn't throw it out. She couldn't drop it. She couldn't lose it. So that helped in the car, especially if you're driving by yourself and her and a child. You don't have the co-pilot to be on toy duty like I am now.
Yeah, and we still battle that today. Carly still has not figured out that when I throw something out of the car seat, it's not coming back. It magically somehow does sometimes, but she doesn't realize that we're the ones that do it. So, yeah, the only thing I didn't like about that Caterpillar is trying to hold on to the car seat without squishing that poor guy all the time. Because sometimes you'd have like some dirty hands or you just got done running around town and you wanted to get some Germ-X or something. You're trying to miss that. And it's a minor detail, but that was just one thing that it did cover a lot of the handle up there. But that's what's going to happen when you're going to wrap something around the handle of that car seat.
Remember when we made our first road trip and we stopped at a Walmart and we got a different toy for her that had lights?
Yeah, we traveled to Denver. We actually made it all the way there. She did a good job there, but it just felt like she was getting bored of the toys that she had, so we kind of were feeling we needed to do something a little different. And then she was really getting to the point where she liked anything that had lights that would flash or change color, and she liked music or sounds. And that would be the only time she would be quiet, is when she had sound. The radio didn't really do it for her unless you just cranked it up, and we didn't really want to do that. So yeah, we ended up going to Walmart, found this little Baby Einstein deal that has all this classical music on it.
It's small. It fits in the size of your hand. It's not huge, so that's why we liked it for the car seat. Didn't take up a ton of space. And she was about 6 months, not quite 6 months. So she was kind of getting out, like you said, getting out of the really newborny baby toys and into ones that were more cause and effect of lights and noise and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll never forget when we were coming back. It was dark when we were about home, and I look in the back seat because Jordan's sitting back there, kind of entertaining her, and it's back there, and it just looks like she's in the club because those lights would change from blue to green to red, and I mean, it was just she was thumping back there to classical music, and it was so funny because it just lit up the whole back seat. It seemed like
We were having a good time. When you're on backseat car seat duty, you got to make it entertaining. So yeah, she's just played with that toy today too. She likes it. And that one again was cheap. I would say it was less than $10.
yeah, it wasn't expensive. We really wanted something that would play sound for more than just 3 seconds because we just really didn't have something like that.
Or something that would require us to have to push it. It has one single button that's pretty big, and it doesn't take a ton of finger strength to push it. So she could do it on her own, and that was huge for us. So she really liked that. One toy that I know that I had, and I'm sure that you had when you were little, that's still prevalent today, is the classic ring stacker. Carly actually has 2 of them. She has 2 different kinds. When I work in the school, I also work with speech paths, physical therapists, occupational therapists. And one of the occupational therapists that I work with, she's like, oh, those ring stackers are so good, working on wrist rotation, trying to, take them off, put them on. And not that I was worried about her skills, but it was just nice to know like, oh, there's so many things that toys do that aren't just for entertainment. It's working on really good skills for her to have. So the ring stackers, she likes taking them. She would always want to take them off. I couldn't ever put them back on.
Yeah, you'll get in the phase. The first phase is she did not want anything on any sort of stacker. So she saw the ring stacker all stacked up with rings on it neatly. Yeah, I'm going to go destroy that one. I don't like it. And she just pull them all off. And she wouldn't stop till they were all off of there either.
No, and that's when you're having to pick up, you have to hide picking that up. Because if she saw you put it all back together, it's like, oh, wow, it looks so nice. Now I'm going to go destroy it. So you had to pick it up and go put it together and hide it away quietly.
Yeah, it does get a little frustrating, but now, she graduated past that. She's to the point of stacking them back on there now. So she hasn't gotten quite, the sizes matched up quite right or anything like that yet, but she is putting rings on those now.
Before we get into a little bit more of the towards one toys, there was one more that I forgot to hit on, and that was the little, you fill it up with water. It's like a play mat, and you fill it up with water, and it has little plastic animals inside of it, like an ocean theme. It just laid on the floor, and the water stayed in it. And you could put her on her belly. It was a good tummy time toy because she would hit the water and it would, it's like a water bed, if you push down on it, it would move a little bit and she could see the animals moving in the water, squishing around. And that was another one to just, she needed to change of scenery. Let's go lay on this and push the water. She needed help at first, to see how it works. And then when she got big enough that she could start hitting it herself, she liked that.
So as she got a little older, the one toy that she probably played with first that was probably advanced, I guess you'd call it advanced, was the little red toy train that has 3 or 4 little actions that you do and the little animals pop up the top and it makes a little noise and all that stuff. She loved watching it in the beginning because she didn't really know how to do it. And she would giggle every time you'd pop them up and it'd always get her attention. And then the one day we were sitting there playing and I was showing her the green one. It's just a little switch. She just pushed down on the switch and up pops. I forget which animal it was, but the one time she did that. Now she didn't have a whole lot of strength to it and she only used one finger, of course, but she did get it to pop up once. And that was really neat watching her play with this tool as she was progressing in her skills because she'd start out with just the green one and all she could do is pop it up. So you'd pop the other ones up, pop everything down, and then she'd slowly start graduating to, okay, the purple one is a push one. Well, she just kind of hit it in a certain way and it'd pop up. So then she had 2 out of the 3. The third one is a vertical twist. It's like a key, like if you were to turn a key. It took her a little while to get that one down. She has gotten it down pretty pat, but that train that she played with, she never really pulled it around.
No, yeah, it has a string on it. And maybe it's just because we haven't shown her that's a thing you can do with it.
Yeah, she never really pulled it around, but she would just sit there and she'd play with it for 10 minutes almost, seemed like.
She still plays with it now. And now I like toys that their skills work on and you can use them for a long period of time. It makes it worth the little bit of an investment in it. Now her thing is working on words and talking. So she'll push the button and up pops the cat. And I'm modeling for her, "Hi, kitty." And I'm waving at it. And then it's cute now because they'll pop up and she'll say hi, or she'll say meow. And then she'll pop it down. Or I've shown her how to pop it down and I said, bye-bye. And then she'll say bye. So it's so good to work on those skills and model those skills for her at this stage. And she's 18 months old now.
Yeah. And then shortly after the train, she was getting big enough where we got a jumper. Yeah, we got one of them from our baby showers. We assembled it and it did take up a lot of space. You know, as we've talked, we don't have a whole lot of space in our house. It took up quite a bit of space. At first, she just sat in it. And there was a couple toys where she could grab onto and kind of just play, but she couldn't turn herself in it and she couldn't really jump because you'd have it all the way down and she'd kind of barely touch the floor when we really first started her in that.
Yeah, she was about like 5 months, I want to say, when I first put her in it. And we had to fold up a blanket because they don't want their feet just dangling. So we folded up a blanket and put it underneath it so it was enough buffer that her feet were touching something and not just dangling there. But yeah, you're right. She didn't move around a whole lot in it.
Yeah, then she grew a little more and you play those toys in front of her and stuff. She get the hang of that. And then all of a sudden, man, she figured out that she could make it bounce and it's moving. It was moving. It was almost jumping off of the floor. And the only thing she probably really didn't play with it on is there is some little, I don't know what you call them, danglers maybe. They're just a couple little deals up top that would dangle down. She didn't ever really have any interest in those, but all the stuff that was around the ring, she liked it. And then it got to a point where she'd figure out, okay, I can stand here, but I want to go play with that over to my right. She found certain things that she could grab and she figured out how to twist in that.
Because it would spin around.
Yes.
So you could access all of the toys. Yeah.
But that was another real long one that we had. Now, she never got tall or anything. We never had to adjust the height setting on that because there were some height settings that you could make it lower, make it taller, you know, depending on how tall your kid is. We never had to do any of that, but
she loved that thing. The only thing is we had to watch how long she was in it. We don't want her in it for extended periods of time, obviously. And if we knew that she had just woke up from a nap, it's like, okay, hey, maybe like 5 minutes of jumping because I don't want you wearing down right away. Like you just woke up. So if it's something that you needed to get her tired for a nap, oh yeah, stick her in the jumper. She would go in there when I'm cooking in the kitchen and she could see me and jump. One of my favorites is before she could really jump, she liked to watch me vacuum. And so I'd put her in the jumper so she's not laying on the floor and she would spin in it. And when I was vacuuming over here, she'd spin so she could see me. And then if I moved over to another area of the room, she'd spin so she could watch me over there. So it was kind of a sad moment when we had to put that downstairs because she didn't really use it anymore, getting a little too big for it. But it was a fun one for her, for sure.
The last one that we're going to touch on real quick, it's actually an outside toy. For Easter, we got her an outside swing. We've got a big walnut tree in our backyard, and it's got some nice lower branches on it that we mounted this outside swing to. And I don't remember, how old do you think she was when we originally first stuck her in that swing?
I think it was May, so she would have been, let me count my months, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, it was
little.
She was too little to be in it, but she loved it.
And we put blankets around her. Like there was to kind of keep her in there. It's not like we were pushing her like crazy either. It was just in it for fun.
Yeah, you might give her a little foot push is all the further she'd swing back and forth, but she loved it. I don't know if it was just because she was moving and she could look at the tree and it was big enough to where she could see some of those colors and stuff. She's like, what is that? But she loved that swing. She has still liked it. She doesn't play in it as long anymore, now that we're a year and a half, but there's times out there where you'd spend a half an hour pushing her in the swing.
And we're like, okay, one last push. We got to go in and it's getting hot out here. We got to go inside. But she would stay in there forever.
Oh yeah, she did like that. So if you want an outdoor toy, that is a good one to just start out with, because you can give them gentle pushes, and then now she just likes being crazy with it. So you give her a big old massive push and she just giggles.
Mm-hmm. And thankfully we do have a tree with a good branch to hang it from, but I've seen other people hang them from an actual swing set, and they take one of the other swings off and put this on. Or I've seen people hang it from, they have hooks on like their porch or something like that you can do. But
we have a garden in the back. So when we had to do some outside stuff, she wasn't old enough. You didn't want to put her down in the grass, or you didn't want to get the little tent that we have out or anything like that. That was just an easy deal to kind of stick her in, give her a decent push, come back in 2-3 minutes quick, give her another push, go do some stuff, come back. It was one of those things that kind of kept her occupied if you had to be outside for a little bit to get some stuff done.
And she would let you know if her push was done. She was ready for another one. She'd start fussing.
Yeah, she'd start whining and go push her again, and she's all smiles again.
And again, like, those weren't all of the toys that she had. I mean, she has a ton of toys, and I have a problem with finding something that's really cool that she might like and not buying it. The one thing that was difficult, though, is her birthday is in February. So it's Christmas and then her birthday, and then she has clear from her birthday to Christmas again. And for that first year, so many things changed that she was tired of the baby toys and she was ready for something else. So we did go and get some on garage sales or get some from friends or buy some ourselves if we could, just because, not to spoil her, but she was getting bored and outgrowing those toys. So she has a lot of toys, but those are ones that we really thought that she got a lot of use out of.
Yeah, they were definitely her favorites and our favorites, which the favorites are always well used. So that concludes our favorite toy list. We are going to have some future favorite toy lists. Next one's probably going to be from 1-year-old to 2-year-old toys. We're a little over halfway there, Jordan.
I know, it makes me sad.
With that being said, thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to Parenting in Progress. If you like what you heard and you're listening to us on YouTube, please go ahead, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. If you're listening to us on other platforms, go ahead, give us a follow and a rating. We truly appreciate it. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.